Before heading to the Brodian border, we do our usual Somniel activities: push-ups, pet, train Alir to level 9, eat my first S-rank meal with Fram and Chloe, and do the support conversations. Jean reflects a little too hard on his getting lost moment from his C support with Clan, who shares that he also knows all too well what it's like making mistakes from his position as a steward. Louis has a very short C support with Clan, teaching him on how to conduct himself with Alfred. Fram accidentally gets an eel sandwich for Chloe, who, in the end, is quite delighted and shares that joy with Fram. As we progress to Brodia to start Chapter 7, Alir is almost shot with the game over by a guy who assumes we're hostiles until we introduce ourselves, prompting the broody looking archer to kill the tension by running up to us and showing an impressive mood swing and kowtow apology. Since no one was permanently engaged off the roster in that attack, forgiveness is given quickly and the archer reveals themselves to be Brodia's second prince Alchrist, followed by his retainers Lapis and Citrine, who both sound like they still want to pick a fight. Even though I'm more than willing to throw hands, Alchrist keeps his retainers in check and escorts us to the Grand Crossing, only to be greeted by a circus led by the clown-looking Princess of Elusia, Hortensia, who gives such a smug introduction that makes me wish it was possible to slay her in the cutscene. Predictably, she's here to try and take our emblem rings. On preparations, we have a bridge map that reminds me of Chapter 311 from Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, though thankfully without the annoying pitfalls dotted around. I put Fram onto the bench and bring out Unica. We juggle a few more items around our characters and start the map. The goal of this map is to defeat the circus ringleader Hortensia all the way on the right side. Starting off turn 1, we're introduced to smash weapons. These have a one-tile knockback effect that can cause breaks if the target is pushed onto a tile they can't occupy. This also explains why there are early game armor knights with break immunity abilities. Follow-ups can't be done with these weapons and they cause the opponent to attack first even if the user initiates. After that tutorial, Alchrist snipes down the Elusian flyer in his range. Jean Emblem engages and uses Obstruct to wall off the tiles between the wooden palisades to restrict the distance flyers a bit. I get my first try of a smash weapon with Lapis's Iron Blade on the soldier straight ahead of her. Then Etier and Citrine continue the combo for a KO. Embarrassingly, I had Unica throw a few daggers on the armor knight to try and poison them, forgetting that damage needs to be dealt for that to happen. Unfortunately, that knight is quite tanky for the other nearby units, so I resort to having Clan warp Ragnarok early, and then I become the clown when I have Anna try to deal the final hit, only to be laughed at with a crit. I go and pretend that didn't happen by opening a new timeline and send in a safer option, Alfred, instead, who crits back. Once I move everyone else along and end my turn, we get another cutscene where the clown shows off one of the emblem rings stolen from Letho's castle, awakened with the power of the Fell Dragon, introducing us to Darksync, where the only difference to us is that dark emblems can't engage due to being in a forced, non-consensual relationship, though this doesn't stop them from using their engage attacks. Anna gets into a two-range tussle with a javelin soldier, then Alfred is struck by one of the Pegasus Knights and blasts out another crit. Turn 2 begins with an Alfred override on the convenient chain of lance units. Alchrist shows off with the cool slide and snipes down another Pegasus Knight. Lapis switches to her iron sword and takes out the southernmost mage. Citrine and Etier partner up again and then take out the other one. Anna makes up for her previous timeline blunder and takes down one of the Lancers, and then the remaining one is taken down with a double magic combo from Jean and Clan. Everyone else pushes onward and the enemy does the same with their next wave. Alir starts turn 3 by breaking a cavalry unit wielding an iron great axe, who is then felled by Louis, looting that smash weapon in the process. Alchrist continues his Pegasus Knight kill streak. Lapis rushes through to get a free hit on the archer that's then shot by Etier. As for the top team, Alfred breaks the nearest Pegasus Knight and is then followed up by Chloe. Unica poisons the cavalry soldier, followed by one-tile range echo-powered fireballs from Clan, also Anna can finish the job with a hand axe. And we cap off the turn with great sacrifice and bring Jean to level 5. On the enemy phase, Chloe pushes off the weakened flyer into the depths below the bridge, and is then attacked again by their brethren. Lapis and the Southern Pegasus Knight have an equal exchange, and then turn 4 begins. Etier moves and chugs down a strength tonic. Citrine and Alir finish off Lapis's opponent. Louis moves forward to protect Alir from the third wave of enemies. Yunaka positions themselves above the Emblem energy tile to weaken the distant archer on the enemy phase. Chloe breaks the remaining second wave Pegasus Knight, which is then followed by Anna missing the freest hit she'll have in this lifetime, mainly because at this point I'm planning to bench her after this map is over, or let her be the first permanent casualty, whichever comes first, and so Clan gets the final hit instead. Jean heals Chloe, Alfred does a javelin hit and run, and we end the turn by positioning Lapis next to Alfred. The Armor Knight Alfred attacked chooses to strike at Unica. The other Armor Knight strikes Louis with a pitiful 1 damage. While the Armor Knight wasn't planned, the expected archer bait works out for Unica. And then the remaining third wave enemies get closer too. Turn 5. Alchrist shoots down his 4th Pegasus Knight in a row. Citrine shocks the Armor Knight next to Louis, and Clan heavily harms the one on the Emblem energy tile, leveling up to level 7. Then Alfred finishes it off and sits 1 tile above Louis. Jean plods over to the opened Emblem energy spot and heals Unica. Unica moves down to complete the blockade and weaken the Aleutian cavalry. Anna takes Yunaka's previous position and takes down the archer in her stead. It was at this point that I realised I got too greedy and put Jean in range of multiple enemies that will have a good chance of eliminating him, and I can't fully cover the tiles adjacent to him without putting Chloe in danger too. After a few more moves, Jean is immediately taken down on the enemy phase.
That's it for me.
Entering a 9th timeline, we go back before Jean made a move. I have Unica and Anna stay where they are, have them attack the nearby Pegasus Knight, and only Unica gets a successful hit. Louis takes down the adjacent enemy soldier and levels up to level 9. Alir breaks the upper cavalry, and then I ponder for a while on how I'm gonna tackle my northern Pegasus/Archer problem, and I come up with a solution that I'm quite proud of, which involves pulling Jean out of the Pegasus Knight's attack range and obstructing the only open adjacent tile, so Chloe can break them without worrying about the archer. We end the turn by having Lapis sit next to Alir and Alfred and use a vulnerary just in case. Enemy phase begins and Lapis takes the first hit from the poisoned archer. Alir is shot at too, then Anna is doubled and broken. One of the cavalries foolishly attacks Louis and falls. Then the remaining one moves through an open path through the bottom and damages Alchrist. After a much safer enemy phase, Alchrist begins turn 6 by shooting their attacker. Lapis aids her prince, breaks the same unit, and then Etier takes them down. Alfred one-shots the archer on the protection tile and then retreats out of the clown's range. Clan takes out the last enemy archer, and then Anna disappoints me for the last time this map, so Chloe finishes off the Pegasus Knight in her stead. Jean repeats his turn 5 action from the previous timeline, of course without the danger this time. Then Louis and Unica team up to take out the poor Chia deck standing between us and the boss. After ending the turn, the boss isn't baited out as easily as I thought she'd be, and we're forced to have someone as bait for her engage attack instead. And so for turn 7 I choose Unica as bait, since the engage attack will force the boss to use the Emblem's Noble Rapier, which functions like Marth's Rapier, so sending Louis to tank it is a bad idea, and thankfully the game developers were kind enough to give us a damage forecast for the attack too, and surprisingly it's less threatening than I thought it'd be. Thus the boss's retinue move in first, so the engage attack, all for one, can be fully utilised as it causes most of the clown's circus, within 2 tiles, to join in the chain attack before the user comes in with a sword attack. In a way, it seems like a less reliable version of Lodestar Rush, a very imposter-like assault. Once turn 8 begins, I ponder, experiment, and consider for a good 12 minutes and a bathroom break on how to deal with the remaining units, and if it's feasible for me to take the steel axe from the Tomgirl Rosado. I did at least one test, by having Alchrist open a path for Louis to Lodestar Rush Rosado, but we'd need an additional attack to finish them off. However, that means we don't have enough damage remaining for the boss to end the map before someone gets deleted, which sounds weird, but we're dealing with promoted flying enemies who also have effectiveness immunity, meaning that our bows don't work as well as they should. Thus I rewind back and decide to show Hortensia a real all-out attack in this final turn. Unica starts us off by applying some poison as well as to act as a test case on whether poison persists over revival stones. Alchrist gets a shot in, Alfred overrides through, and Chloe destroys the revival stone that brings her to level 9. Jean gets one last great sacrifice in, levels up to level 6, and then the combined force of Clan and Louis finishes things off.
My prayers are with you.